Hi there, Pisces, and welcome back to Bon Echo Tarot. I am here with your Blood Moon Eclipse and Mercury Retrograde video report, whatever you want to call it. What I have done this time around is I've gone through some astrology and gone to my favorite sites to cull some information together and put together some information from Astrology King, Astro Mojo, Michelle Knight, and Aquarius Papers. These are a few sites that I go to regularly and have been going to for a long time now. So globally, we're all experiencing similar things. And the consensus seems to be that we are on the threshold of a completely new chapter, a very significant chapter in our lives that's going to last for quite some time. So we're letting go of the old and we're opening to the new. But as with change, not all of us are terrific with it. This eclipse is about unsticking what's stuck before we move into this next chapter. Because any of the old stuff we don't want to drag with us. We want to make space. We want to clear out the stuff that we don't want to bring into this new chapter of our lives. And you might want to also think back to mid-February around Valentine's, because some of the same themes are kind of at play, are being returned to with this Mercury retrograde eclipse combo thing. So because it's eclipses that we're talking about, and there's 3 of them this summer, and I'll get into more detail on that in just a moment, there's a lot of contrasts, and contrasts create tension, but tension often allows for creativity. So try to lean more into the creative side rather than getting stimulated or triggered by the things that are creating tension in your life. Other things to watch for: Mars and its aspects for all of us is giving us a little bit extra energy so that we have the confidence to move through these changes. So we just have to be careful that we're not aggressive as opposed to assertive. Assertive is good, aggressive, a little dicey. This is definitely a grace under pressure time, and a time to be present in the moment at all times. And that's what Mercury retrograde is going to give us the time to do, is to actually stay in the moment with things, to reflect on the patterns that we're working through, that we're trying to improve as we grow. Venus is softening things, thankfully. It's taking the edge off, and because most of our social networks are shifting and changing, and some of us are dealing with relationship structures that are completely changing, it's actually, Venus is facilitating a rebirth, renewals within relationships, as well as giving us new opportunities for relationships with others. Again, romantic, platonic, it doesn't really matter. Everything is changing. So that makes us all a little bit vulnerable. So that's the global look at things, what we're all dealing with collectively. What Pisces is dealing with specifically, and walking through how these eclipses are manifesting for us all, is part of that process. Like I said, for this whole year, we're having 5 eclipses, and one of them was in January, the other one was, again, around Valentine's Day, and now we have 3, boom, boom, boom. We've got July 12th, we've got July 27th, and then also August 11th, which is actually before the Mercury retrograde period finishes. Mercury retrograde goes from July 27th to August 17th, with a little bit of a shadow period on either side. And that's when things are really kind of messed up. So for you, the eclipse back on the 12th was in your 5th house, which is the house of romance, creativity, children, pleasure, joy, all of that sort of thing. And then this particular eclipse is happening in your 12th house, which is your most private place, and it's where the subconscious is. So it's a place of psychotherapy, it's the place of your own privacy, the parts of you that only you know, that you don't really share with anyone. It can also be the house of secrets, um, and so that's going to move you into looking at your health and your daily routine for the final eclipse in August. And that's your 6th house, which, ironically enough, is the theme for Mercury Retrograde for you, is your 6th house of daily routines and health. So, so you'll be reviewing what is actually healthy for you on all levels, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of it. And any sort of small adjustments that you make to improve your daily routine around health are going to pay off huge once this period of time is over with. So keep that in mind. You know, it's like these are classic times where there's energies that are set up that if we work with them, launches us further than if we stayed completely unconscious or worked against those energies. So other planetary influences you might also want to take into consideration is that Saturn is supporting your work ethic. I believe Scorpio also had this as well. So, so you'll be able to remain strong in the work that you do. And Uranus is actually helping you express your true self, which may sometimes be a challenge for Pisces in terms of articulating that. And Uranus has got a very interesting function this time around. I guess it's just recently moved into Taurus from Aries, so it's kind of grounding us, ironically enough. In Aries, it was all over the place. Fire versus earth. You know, we're seeing a very different dynamic in terms of how these planets affect us. What did I do? Your sun is pressuring you. Okay. So you may be feeling, even though you've got a strong work ethic, there may be some latent insecurities around how your employers or your superiors view you and your work together. So, which would coincide with your daily work habits and your health. So you may want to take whatever your managers and whatnot, I would take it with a grain of salt. I wouldn't let it get to you too much, because I know Pisces, you know, is very conscious about their work ethic. So I don't think you're going to have any problems with that. And it may just be some little tweak within your daily routine that's going to open that up for you. And the other thing is that you've got Pluto kind of lingering around, adding more depth to your relationships. So this could still be within the energies of the first eclipse that we saw in July, which was July 12th. So if there was anything particular happening around that time that was forcing any tension in that area of romance, or some sort of soulmate kind of thing, because the 5th house can also represent soulmates. But Pluto is supporting whatever's happening in your intimate relationships. So with that all being said, I'm going to grab the cards, and I am going to do first a Celtic cross spread, a full spread on the energies around the eclipse. My apologies if I seem distracted. You're in my last video in this series, and this has been pretty intense. It's taken me 3 days to record them all. So let's see what insight we can get into the energies around the blood moon eclipse for Pisces. Whoa! Well, I gotta show them. I'm not gonna lay them down, but I've got the 2 of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. So that's kind of nice. Solid, commitment, nurturing relationship. So we'll take that for now as just kind of a little preview or side story. So, Pisces, let's see what this eclipse was about for you. Well, there's definitely a lot of talking. Work. All right. So, the hidden ground and the environment around everything for you right now is the Knight of Wands. So this is an impulsive, gotta go get 'em, moving quick kind of energy. It also could represent a fire sign in your world, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Pardon me. So there's a lot of activity, I guess, going on in the environment. Could be a lot of passion too. But let's start at the beginning. So your first card, the central focus, is the Page of Swords. So this is messages. This is conversation. Clear conversation. Kind of opening things up. This card has been a really common card for these readings. This is the Four of Cups. Because as we move from old chapters and move into new ones, the tendency is for us to linger maybe a little bit too long. Do you see how his eyes are looking down at the cups? He doesn't see this one here, but you can see he's looking down here. So the idea is that he's looking down at the losses. He's looking at what's leaving or what's left and can't see what's coming in. So this is being stuck in the past, and presumably when you become unstuck and change your perspective in any direction, you're going to see this. So take that into consideration in terms of your perception. Ask yourself if your perception around things is accurate. It does look as though this is about getting better communication within a situation. Because at the bottom, we have the King of Swords, which is the most mature intellectual representation that we have in the tarot. So, yeah, so that would be you. Perhaps you have something to say. There's something really important that you need to communicate. In your recent past, we've got the Queen of Swords. So maybe your partner has also had important things that they've wanted to communicate. You could be taking it incrementally, step by step by step, which is a good thing to do. What's crowning you is your work. Because your work ethic is solid. And, you know, you keep diligently plugging away and giving it your best. In your short-term outcome, you've got the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles is very much about a new beginning. It's very much also the yes card. So the kinds of things that you're wanting to make happen are clearly on their way to doing so. But again, we have to continue to remind ourselves the Mercury Retrograde is not a good time to initiate things. It's always good to wait because there's information that's still to come. And so this is you. You are either holding on dearly to every last penny you have, or there's still stuff that you're contemplating and you're holding back on communicating because you want to have the right words. In your environment, you have the Justice card. So you You could be involved in some legal aspects. There could be some kind of legal issues around you. And that kind of throws to the last card, but I'll get to that in a second. This also could represent a Libra individual that you're dealing with. But if you're looking for justice, it's there. Your hopes and fears is the Six of Pentacles. So maybe you feel that there's an imbalance in your relationship and that you'd like to change it somehow. Let's go back to this. This is your final card, which is Judgment. So there could be some sort of a legal situation that you're waiting for an answer on, and that you're hoping that it's going to be a fair and just situation. I have a feeling just from the cards here that that's not going to be a problem. But I will pull a card to clarify the Judgment card anyway. Because the Judgment card, you know, you never really know what direction that's pointing in, just on its own. You know, there could be deliberations on a decision around something, and you may have a bit of anxiety as to whether the outcome will be a fair one or not. See, so there's some anxiety around this decision. And as long as you stay calm, things should be fine. You know, really, this is just keep that grace under pressure going, and it should be just fine. So I'm going to now pull these cards up, and let's take a closer look at Mercury Retrograde. I'm going to pull 3 cards for this little mini spread. The first card will be what is under review. The second card will be the best advice to cope with the changes. And the third card will be a glimpse of what's coming. So let's see if we can get some insight for Pisces on Mercury Retrograde in August of 2018. Mercury Retrograde for Pisces, August 2018. 2018. Got a jumper, folks. That's our first card. Second, and a third. All right, so what fell? The King of Wands. So this is what's under review. Well, it could be an actual fire sign. Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. It could be something around leadership. I'm thinking that this is about leadership, about being an inspired leader for a team in terms of your role in the team that you work with. And the second card is the best advice to cope with the changes. Lovers. This is about possibly working with your partner. Allowing your partner to support you, to be present with you as you move through the changes to your daily routine. Lean on them. They, it's in this kind of a partnership, a strong divine bond. Your partner can be a great source of strength to assist you in making any necessary changes. So that's lovely. And then a glimpse into what's coming. Well, we're clarifying this one because it's the Five of Wands. So there could be some confrontations, there could be some disagreements that are coming. But like I said, let's clarify that and see what the deal is here. So if we can clarify the Five of Wands. Okay, so I've got a few. Okay, so yeah. So the three cards that jumped out for me were the King of Wands again. Look at that. That was what's under review. So perhaps it's a leadership issue. Maybe, So we've got the King of Wands, the Star card, and the Ace of Swords. So there may be a circumstance for you where you're afraid that perhaps you're being given an opportunity to become a leader of some sort in your profession, and that this would be a new thing for you. So maybe there's a managerial role that somebody's considering you for, and you want to be the kind of leader that's inspiring and gives hopes for the people who are working for you. But the thing that they're going to appreciate the most about you is how genuine you are and how you have no problem telling it exactly like it is from your perspective. And Pisces, just because you're usually pretty sweet about things, it's not so hard to hear the truth from you. So I would consider these things, consider your abilities in leadership and be confident about it, and allow yourself to see how this could possibly change your daily routines, because this focuses on your 6th house. So if you are stepping into a new role of leadership somehow in your environment, lean into your partner to help support you through these changes, and enter this new chapter with a sense of confidence that you can inspire, that you can be exactly who you are and be the kind of leader that people will respect and will follow along with. So I hope that was helpful for you, Pisces. Thank you for your shares, likes, and subscribes. I really appreciate the support. Please feel free to comment if this reading resonated with you. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find me on Facebook, Bon Echo Tarot, and message me there. I also will be writing articles, primarily, it seems, so far on Mercury Retrograde, because it's my thing. So take care, Pisces, and we'll see you again.